What's going on, 49er Faithful, 49er fam, 49er gang? This is your boy, Niner Gang Podcast here, back with another video. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, man. Let me drop this on the mic right here. Bam. Hopefully that helps make sure there's no distortion. So, I know the roster has had some changes to it. And I also know, what up, Matt? And I also know that there have been, things going on in 49er land, and I've been a little bit AWOL. I want to apologize to anybody out there. I am sorry, but I will be back. I will continue to be back, dropping more and more content, get some more people on the channel, do some more things. Shout out to Jay in the Bay. Shout out to Mo's Nose. Shout out to Nothing But Niners. Shout out to my guy Tony, Mike, Nick, Brian. Shout out to my dog Breezy. Breezy, I'm still working on this hat for you, man. It is really, they're driving me insane trying to find this hat in your size. So I'm still working on this hat for you. I have not seen you wear it. So that tells me that you don't have it. So once I get one, it's coming your way. And shout out to Mariah with her podcast and her doing her thing. But yeah, man, I'm back. And we're going to go over this 53-man roster. And I was just watching my dog Mo's Nose. Shout out to Mo's. If you don't know about Mo's Nose, you slipping. You got to go ahead and subscribe to that too. So I figured I'd jump on here, man, and give y'all a video really quick and let y'all know exactly what's going on, how things are working with our new roster, and what I currently think of the roster at hand. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Your boy got selected to go on the Hey, nice. That's awesome, Matt. Hey, congratulations, bro. Congratulations. Stay safe out there, man. Have a good time too, man. Spain's a beautiful part of the world, brother. I ain't going to be mad at you for that. Yes, sir. So give me just a second. We're going to share this screen real quick. Got it. I'm going to use my other Chrome tab. So I'm going to slide myself off here. There we go. So this right here is the initial 49ers 53-man roster. Now, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to share. I'll make this big. Add that to the stream. There we go. So this is technically the official 49ers 53-man roster. This is currently off of my Twitter feed. So we have Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. That's obvious. In the backfield, we've got Juice, Raheem, JaMycal Hasty, Trey Sermon, and Elijah Mitchell. So I know a lot of people were concerned with the fact of what happened with Wayne Gallman. And him not necessarily being there and him being cut. I understand that, but these are the best, guys that we have on the field. Also, Jeff Wilson Jr. is slated to make a comeback a little bit later this year, so there probably wasn't going to be a spot for him. Once he does, I can tell you right now, there's probably going to be JaMycal Hasty or Elijah Mitchell that goes down to the practice squad, most likely Elijah Mitchell. You got a on 100th episode. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. I got to watch their 100th episode. Didn't get a chance to take a look at it, but I will. But yeah, when we slide over to the wide receivers, we have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Mohamed Sanu, Trent Sherfield, Juwan Jennings, and there's another guy. We'll get to him. When you look at the offensive line, Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Daniel Brunskill, Mike McGlinchey, Tom Compton, Aaron Banks, Jalen Moore. I'll go ahead and mention the other receivers, Jalen Hurd. Defensive line, you've got Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, DJ Jones, Eric Armstead, D Ford, Samson Ebukam, Maurice Hurst, Zach Kerr, Kentavious Street, and We also have Arden Key and Kevin Gibbons. When you go to the linebackers, there's Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, and Marcel Harris. Cornerbacks, K'Wan Williams, Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley, Devontae Harris, Ambry Thomas, and Diamador Lenore. Safeties, Jimmy Ward, Jaquaski Tart, Tavon Wilson, and Talanoa Hufanga. Special teams, obviously, Robbie Gold, Mitch Wisnowski, and Tabor Pepper. Now, the other part to this is we have a few guys on the practice squad. So, practice squad guys are as follows. Jordan Matthews, Nate Sudfeld, Josh Hokett, Elijah Sullivan as a linebacker, Jared Maiden, Sunil Kelemete, offensive lineman, Tanner Hudson, some tight end, I don't even know who that is, Alex Barrett, and we got a cornerback, D Virgin from the Patriots. So that is currently our roster, and I will go through and give y'all a heads up on what I do and do not like. And believe you me, man, this is definitely one for the ages because I've been on a couple of people's shows. I've been doing my thing. I kind of go on my rants here and there as far as that stuff is concerned. But with this one, it's a little bit different. So to start off, let's go over the quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo. We all know he's here. We all know why he's here. He costs us too much. There's a lot of money involved. We have, Trey Lance, but we're trying to make sure that Jimmy Garoppolo is there, available to start, available to keep things going. We would love to have Trey Lance start right now, but honestly, I think it is better that we just go ahead and what's up, Mose, my dog, Mose, on my channel. People, I apologize. I've never wanted to try to get anyone in trouble. I have to break away from what I'm talking about right now. Mose, I thought it was twins. I apologize. My dog Mose just had a beautiful little girl. Uno, singular, not plural. Mose, if your wife is there, you can show her this video, brother. I promise I did not mean to get you in trouble. I swear to you. I thought it was. I swear to you, I thought it was twins. It's my bad, my fault. But Mose did have a beautiful baby girl. Y'all congratulate him on his new addition to his family. Blessings to all of them and everybody out there. But Jimmy Garoppolo, once again, $27 million man. We got to pay the dude. He is the starter. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. Trey Lance, number 3 overall pick, showed us some things in preseason, showed us some things that we didn't like in preseason, but he's here. He's not going anywhere. He's the future of this franchise. Most likely he will be starting next year if he does not actually start at all this year. What we saw from Jimmy Garoppolo in the preseason was the same Jimmy Garoppolo we always see, nothing new, nothing different. The only wrinkle in his game was the fact that Jimmy himself was a runner. Jimmy boogied a couple of times, man. He got out there and he got on the good foot, and said to himself, he wanted to make sure that he got things done. And he wanted to make sure that Kyle knows, hey, I'm mobile too. I'm not just a statue as I have been over the past couple of years. Well, I can't say a couple of years. I can only say probably about a year and a half. I'd say about 2 solid seasons based on his current time and tenure with the 49ers. He did play the 5 games for us at the end of the season in 2017. He played 2, maybe 3 games. I think it was 2 games in 2018. Full season in 2019, and I think there was like maybe 4 to 6 last year. But either way. So what happens is we have – oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I had to get the Lance joint. I got it when I was out there in Santa Clara for the first preseason game, Melissa. But at the end of the day, Jimmy is Jimmy. He's going to be the same person. It's not going to make a difference. He did run and get a nice little pickup of a first down. And in the last game against the Raiders, he ran for a touchdown. All of our touchdowns versus the Raiders were rushing touchdowns, one by Jimmy G, one by Trey Lance, the other 2 by JaMycal Hasty. So With Jimmy, I expect this. If he's healthy, he plays well. He starts the whole season. If he's not healthy and he goes down, he comes off the field, he doesn't get back on the field. Once Trey Lance touches that field, whether it be grass or turf, wherever we are playing, due to an injury from Jimmy Garoppolo, there will be no more Jimmy G. If it is well beyond the trade deadline, we're just going to have to eat the money. He's going to be a pretty expensive backup, but you're not going to see them put him back on the field, especially if Trey is out there showing the full grasp of the offense. So what you saw from Trey was in the Raider game, and the Raiders didn't fly out their starters. Literally, none of their starters were there. So everybody there was a backup, second, third, fourth, fifth string, whatever you want to call them. They're all fighting for roster spots. Nathan Peterman started the whole game. So you didn't see Mariota, you didn't see Derek Carr, you didn't see Josh Jacobs, no Henry Ruggs, no Darren Waller, none of their starting offensive line, nothing. So, Matt Moses, what's happening with you, brother? But basically, this is the situation. When we played the Raiders, we gave them everything we had. And we did exactly what we intended to do versus the Chargers. Kyle wanted to see Trey in with the starters. So he did. He didn't get a chance to do that. He mixed them in when it came to the Raiders. It actually worked out very well. With the Raiders not playing their starters and not even flying them out, this gives us a great look to see what he can do. Though it's against backups, it's still against NFL hopefuls. And a lot of these guys have been on somebody's roster at some point and played NFL football at some point in their career. So he's still playing against NFL talent. Of course, every rookie would tell you the speed of the game is what catches them off guard. We all understand that. The run game, when Trey Lance was in, was flat out amazing. It was consistent. Linebackers didn't know where to go. Safeties weren't sure what to do. Like, we literally just had everybody on edge. And it was beautiful to see Trey go in and get his touchdown. He pretty much walked in untouched, and then to see Raheem out there just moving back to the same Raheem that we love. He is the Mosterati himself, and I love it. I love every second of it. And then the other thing as well, when it came down to it, was it worked. I know a lot of people don't like the 2 QB system, and I'm not saying run it during the season. Mose made a very, very good point as far as how that looked when it came down to running it through the whole season. He compared it to the Saints with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, as a lot of people have. And it worked with Taysom Hill because you kind of knew. Taysom Hill is a true Swiss Army knife. Taysom Hill can run the football, he can catch the football, he can throw the football, he does kick returns, he does punt returns. The guy literally plays damn near every position on the field. I'm pretty sure you could throw him in a linebacker if you needed to. But basically, when it comes down to us, we don't want to screw up the rhythm because Jimmy G is a rhythm passer. So if Jimmy comes in and he's doing his thing, and next thing you know, you're trying your damnedest to figure out, man, let me see what's good. Let me see how I can get this stuff together. And you're trading in Trey here and then Jimmy there. Jimmy gets out of rhythm. He's not going to get back in the rhythm. It's just not going to work out well for us. So what I was saying is I can appreciate the fact that these guys, you said we got 15 running backs. Who's our starter? I'll get to that. So I can appreciate the fact that Kyle wanted to see what Trey had to offer and that he's trying his best to make sure that he gets him as ready as possible before he puts him on the field. I'd like to see a finished, polished product before we kind of throw him out to the wolves. If you gave me a chance to say who I should say should be the starter, you see the jersey I'm wearing. There really shouldn't be any question. I would say just go ahead and start Trey Lance now. I have no reason not to. And then when it comes down to situation of Jimmy G, if you can find a suitable trade partner, trade him. But don't go out there asking for the world because you're not going to get it. If you get a third rounder for Jimmy G right now, you're lucky. And I'm keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it super 100. You are very lucky if you get a third round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. The 49ers were asking for a first round pick, and I think what was happening was they were asking for a first round pick in hopes that someone would be desperate enough to go ahead and shell that out. When it came down to the Julio Jones situation and everybody looking into it, nobody wanted to give up a first. They wanted to say he was old, he was injury prone, he's this, he's that. What you have to understand is Julio Jones has been a top-notch receiver in this game ever since he stepped on the field. Outside of the injury time, the times that he's been injured, which has been very far few and in between, the man has been a monster. You can't say that about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's only played literally one full season as far as getting through a full season healthy and going into the playoffs. So when it comes down to the quarterback situation, period, point blank, I would love for Trey to be the starter. But I do believe that Jimmy G will be the starter. I believe that Kyle will go ahead and name him the starter, even though he's been toying around with the media because that's just how he feels. And I get it. The media can be annoying. They will ask you the same question over and over again continuously. And Kyle has fun with it. He's like, yeah, man, go ahead. Get your clicks, get your likes, go ahead and write an article. Whatever makes you sleep better at night, you do your thing. I'm going to sit here and keep what I want in, and I'm not going to let it out until I feel I'm ready. It's what it is. So moving on from the quarterbacks, we're going to slide over to the running backs. So we have a nice little stable of running backs. If you take a look at things for what it is, we have Raheem Mostert, JaMycal Hasty, Trey Sermon, and Elijah Mitchell. So out of those guys, the starter is obviously going to be Raheem Dream. You're not going to go ahead and start anyone else. I just due to experience, you have to start Raheem. Right behind him would be Trey Sermon. Right behind him would be Hasty. And right behind him would be Elijah Mitchell. I think that's just the way it's going to work. You will see a mix of hate. You will see a mix of, hey, what's good, John V? Great show, by the way, for the locker. Yeah, shout out to the Locker Room Rant. Definitely go ahead and subscribe, man, if y'all haven't subscribed to them. The situation with, the running backs is there'll be a rotation. This is constant when it comes to Kyle. That's just how he moves. He's been doing it that way. He's not going to change anything. So when it comes down to Raheem and Trey, you'll see a mix of them. When you want to see a power back, you'll probably see Trey Sermon more. He might even be our goal line back. But when you want to see somebody put their foot in the ground and go, you'll see Raheem Mostert. And if we need to use JaMycal Hasty or Elijah Mitchell, we will. I would prefer that those two dudes wind up on return duty, kick returns and or punt returns. Why? Because it would just be better than having anyone else out there because there aren't people. We don't have a solidified returner. The only guy that we saw in preseason that gave us any reason to believe that he could do anything in the return game was Simba Webster, and he is over with the Chicago Bears. So with that being said, starter for us with the running backs, Raheem the Dream, the Mostert, and I think he is definitely going to have a fantastic season. So our wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Mohamed Sanu, Trent Sherfield, Juwan Jennings, and Jalen Hurd. So we know that Deebo and Ayuk are going to start. That's a given. I like Mohamed Sanu there. I think they kept Mohamed Sanu strictly for two reasons. One, Mohamed Sanu is familiar with the system. Two, he's a big brother to Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. When Emmanuel Sanders left last year, they were a little sad, strictly based on the fact that they did not like that he left. They pretty much were upset because he was their big brother. And you got to understand that, man. I can appreciate it. And I get it, you know what I mean? But I'll say that it's just a situation where you got to understand, hey, sometimes we don't always have the money for guys, but we offered him that same money and he went to the Saints anyway. So I don't know what happened. Or maybe he felt like, hey, I'm going to win next year with that guy. But it is what it is. So after that, our slot guy is going to be Trent Sherfield in my eyes. Reason being is Trent Sherfield came in as a practice squad guy from the Cardinals, and we didn't expect him to become the person that he became. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So when he came in, he just put his head down, went to work every day. He looked great in OTAs. He looked great in training camp. He looked great during the preseason. If you notice, Trent Sherfield and Trey Lance had a really good connection. Whenever Trey Lance was struggling, Trent Sherfield comes on the field, 40-yard bomb, 30-yard bomb, whatever the case may be. Those things were working out. So that tells you that's a wonderful thing. I think that Trent Sherfield has earned the slot receiver spot strictly based on what he's done during the preseason and what he did in OTAs and training camp. So that's just how I think about that. When it comes down to Jauan Jennings, I'm very happy that he made the squad. Jauan, to me, is going to have some – he's going to get some plays. We're going to rotate guys in and out, and I think Jauan can be a great red zone type guy, and I believe that he is a contested catch type of person. I believe that he has the skills to do that. He was unfortunately injured last year, but I will say this. I love Jauan. I think he's going to contribute in a fantastic way, and I hope that he has a wonderful season and he can get himself, if he can get 500 yards and 5 tutties, I mean, that's a winning season for a dude who's not necessarily supposed to be, starting. I mean, if you get that kind of production out of him, fantastic. And we slide over to Jalen Hurd. This is the situation. And I'm going to say this because I've been saying this. I say it on everybody's show, and I will not break my stance. Not at all. Jalen Hurd should not have made this team. He did nothing at all to make this team. Jalen Hurd has been here for 3 years. He didn't practice last week after the game. And everybody is like kind of holding his hand, and everybody wants to give him a pass, and there's so many people wrapped up on potential. Do I understand that injuries happen? Yes, I do. It's football. It's bound to happen. There's not a player that's played that hasn't had an injury. Just because they're healthy and they go out there every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, and sometimes Saturday, does not mean they haven't had an injury. You just know how to take care of your body correctly. I mean, I think it was James Harrison who spent like almost $1 million a year just based on health, nutrition, and what he was supposed to do to keep his body right so he could play every year. But with Hurd, he's been here for 3 years, and he's given us nothing. And people play devil's advocate for him, but I'm done with her. I'm done with the potential, and I feel like he's a waste of space. At this point, why am I putting you on my roster? Oh, because of the potential. Jalen Hurd has great potential. He had potential when he came out of Baylor. He had potential when he left Tennessee because he didn't want to be a running back and he wanted to be a wide receiver, and he was holding back Alvin Kamara. He had potential years ago. He had potential when he did what he did with the Cowboys game 2 years ago. The potential is gone, people. Let it go and let Jalen Hurd go. The man came out. He didn't run the correct routes. He was out of place several different times. Some of the blocking he didn't even do. And he was very lackluster. And you know what people are going to say to that? Man, he was rusty. You don't have the option to be rusty. You've been MIA for 2 years. The only reason Jalen Hurd is on this team is because Kyle has a ridiculously large ego. His ego is enormous. Kyle doesn't like to be wrong. I'm just going to keep it above. He don't like to be wrong at all. Kyle is one of those people, and I've said this before, he always trying to bring the homies with him. You can't bring everybody with you. When you leave the hood, some of them fools got to stay back. It is what it is. You cannot take everyone with you because some people don't know how to act in certain settings. It is what it is. And what people will tell you when you try to tell them to adjust themselves to fit the setting. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? See, you now you got bougie, you did this, you did that, now you want me to change who I am. People just gotta accept me for who I am, blah, blah, blah. If you have that attitude in life in general, you don't know how to mingle in different crowds. As Jay-Z said, you don't know how to move in a room full of vultures. You will continue to hang out with the pigeons and the dodo birds. You've got to understand that this is a situation where you can't bring everybody with you. CJ Beathard, Dante Pettis, Jalen Hurd. And another guy I'll get to a little bit later in the video because there's another position group. Those three guys right there, Jerick McKinnon. You know how many people we done brought on this team that been injured? It annoys the shit out of me. Kentavious Street, chance after chance after chance. Mind you, he looked very good this preseason. But I'll get to him later. But those are guys that have not produced and did nothing for us. McKinnon looked all right. And I give him all right because he did score a couple of touchdowns and he did all right. But he wasn't the same player. He didn't have the same explosiveness. You know, and you could fully remove the moniker of Jet from him. Why? He wasn't nowhere near fast. That man had a 55-yard run and got chased down real quick. Also, he's the most ungrateful running back you've ever seen. Don't get on Deebo Samuel Live talking about, fuck no, I ain't coming back. We lined your pockets and fed your family, made sure you had a roof over your head for 3 years. And you had a nerve to be on a live stream with one of the players currently on the squad, and you really want to act like that? You want to be ungrateful? That's cool. Go over there to the Chiefs and be, you know, running back number 4, 5, and 6. So, to end my little rant on Jalen Hurd, he should not be here. There is no reason for him to be on the field. And what I have to address is Jay in the Bay, my dog. He suggested something, and I'm glad I wasn't on the show because I would have probably had to take myself out of the stream. Jay in the Bay said, I wouldn't mind putting Hurd on the PUP list for 6 weeks, monitoring him, and taking a look at him, and then after those weeks, reactivate him. Jay in the Bay, you are a good dude. I love watching your show. I always try to catch your shows. I tune in. I'm not going to stop tuning in. But I'm going to politely disagree. I'm not going to disagree the way that I normally would. I'm going to politely disagree. If you put Jalen Hurd on a PUP list, you might as well have cut him. You should have let him go. There is no reason that Jalen Hurd should have any kind of slack. No slack whatsoever. Get your ass on that field and start earning your damn paycheck. Make it happen. And make it happen ASAP, sir. Because there is no reason you shouldn't be on the field. There's no reason that you should not be producing for this team. All this potential crap, people still loving you, you know what I'm saying? And dick riding from years ago when you had 2 catches in the Cowboys game that was meaningless anyway. All of that build up. No, get on the field, produce, take these hits, take these lumps, catch the ball, do what everybody thinks you're going to do, because I don't think you're going to do a goddamn thing, Jalen Hurd. I think you're not going to do anything for this team. I think you're going to be an afterthought after this year. I think you were kept strictly because of what I said. Kyle has ego. He cannot be right. It's just what it is. And the only other thing I'll say about this is everybody tries to compare Jalen Hurd to Jaquiski Tartt, Jimmy Ward, and Jason Verrett. Let me tell you something about all 3 of those people. They all got on the field and showed us what they had. We saw something from them. They gave us flashes of greatness. We weren't going off of college tape and hoping they would be something. They gave us a fit. They gave us something to put on tape and say, this is the reason why. Jalen Hurd has gave you nothing to put on tape but a Cowboys game from 2 years ago and 1 year as a receiver. 1 year. That wasn't his primary position. So to all you Hurd fans and lovers, keep him. Y'all have fun with him. When he fails and falls flat on his face, I will be there to laugh in yours. Moving on. So, offensive line, Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Daniel Brunskill, Mike McGlinchey, Tom Compton, Aaron Banks, and Jalen Moore. So, we all know what the offensive line is going to be. It's going to be Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Daniel Brunskill, and Mike McGlinchey. So, don't have to say anything about Trent. We all know what Trent. God damn it, Ronnie, man. Every time, man. What's up, Roddy? What's good, my dog? He get me to every damn time. We all know what Trent Williams is going to be. Ain't no reason to talk about that. The heck? It's Trent Williams. Like if you saw the top 100, people literally said that. Like it was a given. Boom. So we silent. The other thing is, Laken Tomlinson, there's not a guard that beat him out. We know that. And Tomlinson's pretty good. The left side of our line is better than the right side. Alex Mack, perfect center for the squad. Going to be great. We just have to make sure that he doesn't sweat so much that it seems like Jimmy Garoppolo and or Trey Lance is playing in a game where it's raining, and it's really not. It's just the sweat from Alex Mack's balls and the rest of his body. We'll move over to Daniel Brunskill. The reason I gave him the nod is because I didn't see anything from Aaron Banks that said that he should start over Brunskill. Also, Aaron Banks is dealing with the shoulder injury. I believe they said he should be good to go. He'll be all right. Jalen Moore did pretty good. I think he wound up winning the swing tackle job. So he'll be either left or right tackle backup, whoever he needs to be a backup for. He probably would have been just a right tackle backup and probably even tried to compete with that spot for McGlinchey had Justin School not torn his ACL and wound up out for the year. So when it comes down to the offensive line is solid. It's stout. It looked fantastic. When it's running and we are running the ball, it's going to be really, really tough for opposing defenses to get with us in any way, shape, or form. We are going to destroy defenses. Bully ball is here, and it's here to stay. So, the only person, and I'm going to go on a small rant real quickly. There's another situation of Kyle bringing a homie along, man. Tom Compton. You know, that says it all. That says it all. Tom Compton. He looked like trash last year. He's going to look like trash this year if he winds up getting on the field. Knock on wood. That he doesn't. These are things that are happening. This is another. Kyle said, hey, you the homie, man. Come on through. Come with me, man. I got you. Don't worry about it. We had Dante Johnson, and we cut him, and we added Josh Norman. That was another signing. We all know who Josh Norman is. Josh Norman used to be good when he played in Carolina. Ever since he left Carolina, he was not the same dude. He didn't do great in Washington. He didn't do great with Buffalo. And most of the people, if you mention Josh Norman, the only thing they remember is him getting bitch slapped by Derrick Henry. You got posterized, bro. The man literally threw you with one hand. And he wasn't even at full stride either. That's like partial momentum. So it is what it is. But I get that you want to bring people in that know your system and that are familiar with it and that you feel you can trust, but you can't trust the guy. He played horribly. We all saw it. And I know you saw it, but I guess Colton McKivitz was that much worse. So it is what it is. The other guy, got to go back. Actually, no, I'll touch on it when I get to that position group. So we're going to slide over to the defensive line. Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, DJ Jones, Eric Armstead, D Ford, Samson Ebukam, Maurice Hurst, Zach Kerr, Kentavious Street, Arlen Key, and Kevin Givens. This part is where John Lynch said, I ain't giving up nobody. John Lynch openly admitted that he had been getting calls for some of the defensive linemen, and he said no. So We have kept everybody. I expect our starting defensive line to be as follows: Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, and Dee Ford. That is what I expect to see on the field, and I expect Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Fred Warner to be behind them. So, with that being said, there's not much to say about the defensive line, just the fact that it's deep, and when we rotate guys in, there will be no stoppage. Your quarterback will constantly be under pressure and or being sacked, and at the fact that DeMeco Ryans wants to be a aggressive defensive coach, it's going to make it even more fantastic because these guys are going to be after the quarterback consistently and just rolling it in. I always use this analogy, and it's just Steve Spagnuolo when he was with the Giants and they beat the Patriots those years. He just kept rotating in starters. His backups were starters anywhere else, and you got to love that. And then at the same time, maybe a few blitzes here and there, to be able to get guys off kilter. You could throw that ball wrong, make the wrong decision. We get ourselves a couple of good, interceptions, get the ball back to the offense, or possibly hell, even if you can't get it to the offense, take it to the house. So defensive line, I have no worries. Kyle has come out and said he expects to see a large helping of Nick Bosa in the game versus Detroit. I hope so too. I hope he will be on the field because though everybody loves him, he only gave us 1 year of production. So I'm not sold on 1 year. I need more than that. Hey, I appreciate you, Travis. I know people look at me and they're like, man, you're just so hard on these players. You don't never give nobody no slack. You got no chill, nothing. My thing is how you feel about. I love the fact that the QB is light skinned, Ronnie. That's team light skinned all day, every day. Damn it, we ain't going nowhere. Light skinned brothers is still in style, okay? Y'all chocolate brothers, y'all coming around. Light skinned brothers are still in style, okay? We didn't go nowhere. But what I will say is, at the end of the day, when it comes down to our defensive line, Nick Bosa, he gave us 1 good year. Okay, he was injured the next year. You can't expect me to jump. I don't jump on the bandwagon for 1 year wonders. It looks great. It's nice. It'll get you paid. But that's all I saw was 1 year. He got injured in high school. He got injured in college. He got injured in the pros. Just got to call a spade a spade. At the end of the day, call a spade a spade. So, happy with the defensive line. I expect the pass rush to be disgusting and go hard. Linebackers, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, and Marcel Harris. We switched Marcel Harris to linebacker. That was the problem. That was the whole point. Everybody, they thought he would be better at that because he wasn't the most fantastic guy at safety. I'm not going to say he was horrible, but he wasn't great. So it made sense. You switch him over to linebacker, that's cool. The only issue I have is that we let Jonas Griffith go, man. And the trade that we had was pretty stupid. Like, we basically swapped picks because we gave them a player and a pick, and then they gave us a pick. Like, we didn't really get anything for it. And see, I'm one of those people, man. When I see a trade, I need to see that there was value in it, number one, and number two, that we actually benefited. We didn't benefit from that trade. And there's a bunch of people going, "Oh yeah, man, it was great. That we did this, we didn't do anything." Yes, John Lynch makes his bones in the later rounds. I get it. But Jonas Griffith was great. Do you understand I didn't know he was this good last year because he didn't make the squad. And then at the same time, we had no training camp. We had no OTAs. We had no nothing. Was good, Jay in the Bay. But it was very frustrating to see that, man. I was like, man, we let go of Jonas Griffith. If Fred, God forbid Fred goes down, but if Fred would have went down, I would have been very comfortable with number 53 standing in there. Very comfortable. Because Jonas Griffith looked great during the whole preseason. Fan-freaking-tastic. But it is what it is. These are the guys we have. These are the guys they feel comfortable going forward with. It's perfectly fine. And then, all I can do is deal with it. Cornerbacks, K'Wan Williams, Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley, Devontae Harris, Ambry Thomas, Diamador Lenore, and we now have Josh Norman added to the squad. I'm going to assume that's Fifi Coffee beat the Lions. We will go ahead and smack the Lions dead in their mouth. You know, ain't nobody biting off our kneecaps over here. Not in this, not with the Niners. We don't do that. So with the cornerbacks, you automatically will assume Eman Mosley, Jason Verrett, and K'Wan will be the 3 starters. After that, you're going to have Diamador Lenore, most likely Josh Norman, and you'll probably, bump Ambry Thomas to the bottom rung. Moles made a very good point because he was stating, a lot of these guys are having a hard time adjusting to the NFL that took a year off. Ambry Thomas was one of those guys. So it is what it is. Bosa and Ford, sack Goff. Oh, we will. Yeah, we already know what Jared Goff is. He's trash. So we'll smack Jared Goff in the face. But the thing is that Ambry Thomas didn't look so great during the preseason. Diamador Lenore shined. He looked fantastic. He even had a pick, even though it was one of those opportunistic picks. It was a pick nonetheless. And I think with our defensive backs, as long as they stay healthy, we're fine. If 1 goes down, we're fine. 2 go down, we got a problem. I don't trust Josh Norman to have to play a full season. I really don't. Like I said, he hasn't been the same since he left Carolina and got paid. And there's nothing there that shows me that I can have faith in him. Now, if he comes out and he balls out and he does what he needs to do, hey, fantastic, great, I'm happy, cool. I'm gonna be reserved for the moment on Josh Norman, and I'm gonna see what he can give us, if he gives us anything at any time. Hopefully, we don't have to see him at all because Jason Verrett and Emmanuel Mosley are continually healthy, and K'Wan and Shark can stay healthy too. So, moving on from the DBs, we're gonna go to the safeties. We got 4: Jimmy Ward, Jaquiski Tartt, Tavon Wilson, and Talanoa Hufanga, a.k.a. Baby Palomalu. I love this kid, man. Talanoa Hufanga dropped in the draft because he didn't pass the Underworld Olympics. He didn't run a 4.40. He didn't run a 4.5. He ran in the 4.6s. But you know what Talanoa Hufanga has? What you want your football players to have, and that is a high football IQ and a nose for the ball, and he can make plays. See, what people don't realize is the 40 is not the end-all, be-all. Sometimes people are better in games rather than drills. You can have a dude that may not run the crispest drills and things like that and run the fastest 40 and have the greatest cone drill and this time and that time. But he gets on the field and he just makes plays. Richard Sherman was a wide receiver in college, people, just in case you forgot. They turned him into a DB while he was in the league. So that's advantage Richard Sherman. You know why? If I was a wide receiver, what would I be doing on this route? How would I move? So he knows that. He had to learn the cornerback side of it, and he excelled at it. He did very well in the zone coverage scheme. You know, a lot of people say, well, he was trash. He didn't travel with the receiver. Who gives a shit? He did his job. He got his money. But our starters, obviously, are Tartt and Ward. Tavon Wilson shined very well in training camp, OTAs, and he shined very well when no, I apologize, just in training camp. I don't believe he was here for OTAs. Training camp, and he did very well in the preseason. So it's great that we have both of those guys. If we, unfortunately, were to lose Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward, if I had to have Wilson, Hufanga, as my safeties, I'm okay with it. And then Hufanga can play. He's a hybrid safety linebacker because he's that damn good. If you didn't see the preseason, please, by all means, I think maybe NFL Network is still playing a lot of the games. Go ahead and watch, man. Hufanga was everywhere. If he wasn't the person tackling, he was there. You saw 29. So, love me some Talanoa Hufanga. Safeties are good. We're fine with that. Of course, with the special teams, Robbie Gould, Mitch Wishnowsky, and Tabor Pepper. Mitch Wish did better with his punts. Robbie Gould, I'm a little worried about. If we got to go outside of 40 yards, I don't trust him kicking the ball. I feel like he doesn't have it anymore as well. He missed a couple of field goals just during the preseason. Oddly enough, it always seemed to be when it was Trey Lance getting the touchdowns. So I don't know. Maybe he has a thing for Jimmy. He wanted to go ahead and, just say, hey, I'll make sure I can miss these field goals so it makes Trey look bad. I don't know. Even though that doesn't make any sense, you never know. People could have very, very, very different intentions. But as far as the roster is concerned, I'm happy with it. I don't like the fact that Hurd and Compton are on the roster, but they're there. There's nothing you can do to deal with it. Compton most likely will see the field from the sidelines and never have to see it actually playing unless we're just blowing somebody out. And even if he is, then if we're up that far, I'm not worried. They'll just run the ball and run the clock out. As it pertains to Jalen Hurd, I'm gonna keep my stance and I'm gonna hold firm. I don't like it. I feel like it was just Kyle's ego. He always wants to do that. I'm not wrong. I know this guy can do it. He's got to get it done. Dante Pettis, the most sensitive person in the world. It took a therapist telling you that Kyle Shanahan coached you hard because he actually liked you. He went up to go get your dumb ass, and he expected a lot from you. You gave him something to be hopeful for at the end of your first year. And after that, you gave him nothing to be hopeful for because you were too busy doing photography and playing with goddamn cats. Well, it is what it is. So at the end of the day, Kyle, you need to stop bringing the homies along with you. Everybody can't go. You're going to have to realize that. I don't know who has to tell you that or who can get that through your thick skull. It is what it is. Also, to John Lynch, if you're watching, probably not, but I'm going to say this anyway. Please get away from these injury-prone players. Dudes who have had several injuries in their career. Well, I don't know what it is. I get that you're a players guy and you know guys. You've done the job before, so it makes it easier to be relatable. But stop taking flyers on these dudes that constantly are not on the field. If a dude can only make it through 6 to 8 games in the season, he's not really worth much. You got to start seeing that, man. I understand it. You say, well, man, look, we're just going to get this guy and we're going to do this. But then half these dudes wind up sitting on fucking IR for the year. And it's a waste. I don't want to see that. So to me, it makes more sense to pick up a guy that's healthy, that's been able to contribute and do things. Wayne Gallman was a very good pickup. You know why? He was healthy. He contributed while Saquon Barkley wasn't there. And he looked damn good. And he looked good for us. Just didn't make the squad. So those are the type of pickups you should make. But please, for the life of me, do not go out there picking up, the most injury-prone dudes and then giving them time and giving them time. Oh, and then give them some more time. And then finally allowing them to be able to do things. So to me, it's like, man, you gotta chill with that. As far as the returner, I will say this. Your returner should be Elijah Mitchell and JaMycal Hasty. Both of those dudes are shifty. Both of those dudes are fast, and it just makes sense. Whether they do punt returns or kick returns. From one of my buddies, they said that Grant Cohn said that nobody would like who the punt and kick returner was. But he knows who it is, but he can't say. I will tell you this. It bet not be Jalen Hurd, and it bet not be Mohamed Sanu. And I feel you, Jay in the Bay. I don't want it to be Ayuk either. Ayuk is our starting wide receiver. We don't need him returning punts, possibly getting himself injured. It's got to be either Elijah Mitchell or JaMycal Hasty. And you can put those dudes on the kick return, and you can put JaMycal Hasty. You can put one of them on the punt return duties. It makes sense. So do I think that's going to happen? Most likely, yes. Do I think that Kyle's going to tell anyone if they ask him again? Probably not. Why? Because Kyle doesn't care. Kyle is the one person, man, that treats the media like his side chick. He going to tell you what he wants you to know. And what you really want to know, you're going to have to dig for the information. You got to get, his thumbprint for the biometrics, or you got to get the face, scan to open his phone and figure out what woman he's talking to. But Kyle gonna tell you, he's not going to open up. Or Ambry Thomas, you're right. I agree with you, Ambry Thomas, because he did that in college. He did it in college, and he wasn't too bad when he did that. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream, and I'll be back with more videos. We'll definitely go ahead and get into some things as more things continue to happen. The only thing that has happened is Josh Norman is now a 49er. We have cut Dontae Johnson, but as a lot of people in 49er land know, Dontae Johnson will be back at some point because the man knows where all the bones are buried and the bodies are buried. He's got something on everybody. I think he's got something on Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Jed York. He possibly got something to Eddie D. Bartolo. Peace out, Roddy. Because he always comes back. I think Dontae goes home, kicks back, and his girlfriend says, "What you doing, baby? You gonna go out and find a job? What? 49ers ain't gonna do nothing but call me in about a week or so." Look at that. There's them right now. So I will end this show on that note, and I will leave you guys with this. Period, point blank. Jalen Hurd shouldn't be on his team. No Tom Compton. We will beat Detroit. I think we can beat Detroit if we get the running game going right. Say we can beat Detroit about 45-3, maybe even like 45-7. If we get the ball moving, strictly based on the fact that I don't see anything in Detroit that scares me. It damn sure ain't Jared Goff, and it definitely ain't that head coach. God, no, not that head coach. He biting kneecaps and clawing and all kinds of crap. I don't know. But I'll be back with another video. We're gonna do a preview video on the Lions game. I am going to most likely hunt down a Lions fan. I gotta jump on Twitter, find me a Lions fan, bring him on the show, and berate them with 49er information. Sewell scares me. What do you mean he scares you? He scares you at the fact that Jared Goff blind side and Jared Goff right side is going to be getting murdered by D Ford. That's the only reason that Penei Sewell should scare anybody, because they say he been struggling bad. Don't believe me? Watch Jay and the Bay's last show. And then you can watch the roster checkup with my big dog Mo's nose. But hey, you guys have yourselves a wonderful evening. Stay blessed. Stay faithful. I will be back with another video. The minute I have a Lions fan, we will go over the video. I will be polite, but I'm still going to go ahead and kill them because they have no hope of winning this game. Not zero. Because they don't even have any receivers. Marvin Jones and the other guy are gone. But Don, I don't know who this Don Burkhead is. But he's always in 49er chats, whether it be here, whether it be the Ronbo Show, whether it be Jay and the Bay, whether it be 49ers High. It's always there. And yeah, hey, everybody, big shout out to my dog Matt, man. He got a opportunity to go to Spain for a business trip. Now, don't get me wrong. You go out there, you handle your business, Matt, and represent your company well. But I ain't gonna say don't have a little fun, out there on the side. It's definitely gonna be great. But thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a blessed evening, and I'm out. Peace.